Hello, good evening. This is kind of a little bit of the pre-stream stream for Nethack Nights. Hopefully somebody in the chat could just give me a quick thumbs up and say, yep, all my sound and everything is okay. How's the balance on that one? I just popped the music a little bit louder. Super duper. So we'll get started properly in just a couple of minutes, but if you are watching live but don't have a Twitch account, you've just about got enough time to go and sign up for one, as that will let you take part in the chat room, and taking part in the chat room is where the real fun happens. Right, I think we're just about ready to get started. So, good evening, welcome to Nethack Nights. I'm really glad that you all could join me. My name is Alex, and I will be your keyboard player for the evening. Casey is away on business, and I volunteered to guest host tonight's episode, because a schedule is important. So, before we get started, and before we jump into our game for the evening, I thought it might be interesting if I just gave a little bit of background of how I came to Nethack and my experiences with it. So, I've been playing Nethack for a little bit longer than Casey has. I started playing when I was a teenager. I am very far from a teenager now, sadly. And at the time, I was obsessed with computers and programming and everything else, and one of the aspects of that was being obsessed with the culture around Unix and Linux and things like that. And that was almost certainly my path to Nethack. Over the years, I've tried, I've had various stages of playing it a lot and not playing it at all, and in fact, I hadn't played it for years and years and years until Casey started doing these streams, and it reignited my interest. So, while I have been playing it a lot, or while I have played it a lot over the past few years, I would never say I was very good at it. In fact, this weekend I ascended for the first time. Before then, I had never met the wizard, I had never hit the bottom of the dungeon. So apart from one very lucky game, I haven't necessarily come very far in all of this. So that's a little bit of background. Casey's been playing some barbarian characters for you. I thought this evening we could start off with a wizard who is more of a spellcaster. Barbarians, of course, are very run through the dungeon and just hit whatever they encounter. They're quite straightforward. Wizards are a little bit more delicate. In like, you can't just melee your way through the entire dungeon. And barbarians also tend to get a fairly standard starting inventory, where wizards get a lot more variation. So that can also affect their starting chances. So for a bit of variety, Casey likes playing a neutral human barbarian. Let's play a gnomish. I don't mind my gender. Let's let the game pick that one at random and begin our game. So the barbarians, prey to Crom, are a wizard, and I cannot see whether we ended up as a male or female, but our wizard is praying to Thoth. So I am a neutral female gnomish wizard. So there's a few differences between my preferred setup and Casey's setup, but probably the main thing that you're going to see is that I like using the Vim keys. So let's start exploring our first dungeon layer. Actually, before I even start that, we should have a look at our inventory and see what we got to begin with. So we've got a couple of scrolls of identify, that'll definitely come in handy. We have a Ring of Warning, which would be quite useful. We saw that last time when we could see the numbers of enemies coming up ahead. And apart from the extra healing, those potions are not all that exciting, I would say. So let's have a look at the dungeon. So there's our downstairs. Casey likes to go downstairs so he can generate that level at the level that his character is currently at. I like to go downstairs in case I fall through a hole. I can easily find, or more easily find, the upstairs that way. Search down here. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit entirely the wrong key there. I hit my mute keyboard and sent my my Nethack session entirely off the screen. Sorry, there were bound to be some teething problems. Let's kick down this door. And in fact, you know what? Sorry, just looking on the stream, my Nethack window is looking a little bit small there. So let's see if I can just make that a little bit bigger for us all. In fact, we might even be able to go even bigger still. There we go. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully that looks a little bit more, a little bit easier to follow on the stream. So this goblin had a scroll. Ooh, I don't know what's happened with my changing my the size of my screen might not have been the best idea. We now have this text over here. I wonder if I can force an entire screen redraw. Look at that. Just look at that. Thank you, Terminal. That is not very useful. Let's see if I can actually maybe make that slightly smaller. Well, this is good. If I save and restart, Nethack can generally adjust. Okay, well let's try that. We can indeed save our rather more Mondrian-esque game for this evening. Let's save that. As you can see, I'm actually playing on a public server this evening. I'm playing on the nethack.alt.org. So if we hit play, I should be able to resume my game in progress. Let's hit my inventory button. Not quite, but maybe we can live with that for the time being. See, this is what I get for trying to change terminal settings midstream. I thought I had everything all ready to go setup wise, but I've ended up with a couple of little display artifacts. Let's see. Well, I was going to say maybe going down to the next dungeon level is going to be enough to solve that. Let's see if that does actually disappear. Anyway, so we've got a goblin and a newt. They shouldn't be too much trouble. But I'm just going to back off into this doorway a little bit, because that way I only have to fight one thing at a time. So let's cast our first spell. Let's cast Force Bolt at these creatures down here. Force Bolt is, your wizard is guaranteed to be generated with a spellbook of Force Bolt, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You project a bolt of force in a given direction, which is enough to kill a goblin or kill a newt. Ooh, and we're down to 2 HP. So the question is, do I want to attempt to retreat, or do I want to try and hit this goblin, or I could drink my potion of extra healing. Let's do that. I wouldn't be too annoyed if my character were to die quite so early, in particular with the little visual hiccups. But it would be nice if my guesting didn't come to an end on dungeon level 1. So when I'm waiting, I like to wait by pressing the search key rather than the dot key to wait, just because searching exercises one of your attributes. And I don't think there's really much else for us to see on this dungeon level, but I want to find our kitten. So, let's go and have a look on dungeon level 2. So we found the staircase down. Let's go and have a quick look down there, just so we know where the upstairs is in case we fall through a hole. And I just want to wait and see if my kitten is going to tread on that ring. Because, as we've already established in previous Nethack Nights, that if our pet wants to is willing to stand on an item, it's not cursed. But he doesn't look really willing to do so, so maybe that Tiger's Eye ring is going to end up cursed. There is a fountain. You feel agile. You must have been working on your reflexes. So there's not really very much else visible right now, but there's quite a lot of dungeon left over this side of the screen. So let's see if we search along these walls, if we can find any hidden doors. Hey, there's a hidden door. Hey, we have found ourselves an armor dealership. So we should maybe be just like a little bit careful in here because we're still a very low level wizard and a mimic could really mess up our day. The other interesting thing about wizards is that whereas with barbarians are going to try on pretty much any armor they come across that they know isn't cursed. But with wizards, metal armor is bad for spellcasting. So your wizard, like normally when you find yourself a mithril coat and you're playing a non-magical character, you're going to put that mithril coat on as soon as you can. But a wizard, that's going to mess up a wizard's spellcasting, so wizards aren't normally such a fan of those kind of things. So Rex is a fan of these jungle boots. Let's try those jungle boots on. We know they're not cursed, so we can try them on. So our jungle boots are speed boots. You feel yourself speed up. So that will be definitely a purchase worth making. I'm back in, kitten. And you know what? For 4 Zork mids, I'm going to buy a Hawaiian shirt. Which I can't wear without taking off my cloak, first of all. We want to wear the shirt first, and then wear our cloak. So a Hawaiian shirt doesn't improve our armor class on its own, but it does give us an extra bit of armor to enchant. So if our wizard is lucky enough to survive until we can start finding some scrolls that will let us enchant our armor, we'll be able to get a little bit higher than we would be able to without the shirt. And there's a pair of gloves here as well. I don't know if our pet, there we go, has trodden on the gloves. Let's pop the gloves on as well. And again, pay for those. And you know what? A leather armor is probably going to improve us a little bit as well. So that was not a bad little shopping trip. I think we spent about 100 Zork mids and we're now down to AC 4, which is about as good as we could do in this shop, I think. Like, we could have gone a little bit better if we were happy to wear some metal armor, but as I say, that's going to mess up our spellcasting. So let's go and consider the rest of the dungeon. And I don't think there's going to be very much else on this level, so let's just zip all the way over. Ooh, we are feeling hungry. Let's see one of those lichen corpses that we had. I paid, Railsquee is asking in the chat, and it's nice to see you by the way, is that I didn't drop gold, I just paid the shopkeeper. Yeah, like some people will say that you should drop gold as soon as you go in there, but we didn't really have any issues with our, like, that would make us leave the shop abruptly. So I thought it would be fine as is. So, you know what, all of this kind of graphical cruft, and I think as somebody else points out, we are in fact missing some little terminal stuff off the top. So let me just see if I can improve this just 1 second. So bear with me 1 second. Let me just see if I kind of like quit my terminal and start a new one. Nearly there. Okay, let us try that. How is that? I think that's going to be a little bit better for everyone. Let's have a look at our inventory. Well, we've got that in big text, and hey, there is no overlapping text now. So hopefully that's going to be a much more fun viewing experience for everybody. So we were just about to go downstairs, but before we do that, we of course want to make sure that our pet comes with us. Ooh. Something threw a rune dagger at us, so I'm going to back away until that becomes a little bit more apparent what it's going to be. So one thing you might notice here, and this might come as a little bit of a surprise to you, is I can see this hobbit that is advancing down the hallway towards me here. But that hallway is unlit. How can I do that? And the answer is something which we won't have seen in any of Casey's previous streams, because he's always played human characters, but gnomes, which our wizardess is, have a quality called infravision, which means they can see warm-blooded things, like hobbits. So, this hobbit is visible to us even though it's in the corridor. And that means that I can see it, and I can throw that dagger that the hobbit just threw at us, but it looks like we missed it. So I could maybe try casting a spell at it, but you know what, it's only a hobbit. I think I can take it. And we've also found our kitten. Come on, kitten. Yeah, Railsquee points out that if we had cast a spell at our hobbit, then our kitten could have been caught in the crossfire. And I don't think our kitten is quite at the point where it could take a force bolt to the face. So we found ourselves a second store. There's a couple of mains in here, which are not too serious, but I'd rather not fight two at once, so we'll just back off a little bit. Apparently I cannot hit a mains for love nor money. Oh dear. I should have thought about that. I should have thought that was an item which looks a little bit out of place in a hardware store. I might not be able to escape from the large mimic. I think I'm going to have to try and fight this large mimic. I don't think I can run away from it, and this large mimic is certainly powerful enough to really mess up my day. So I think my best option here is to just cast Force Bolt at it and hope that I Force Bolt it into submission before it beats me into submission. So let's cast our Force Bolt down to there, and we can do that again because our Mimic... I say one thing which we do have in our favour is we have those speed boots, and Mimics are pretty slow anyway. Welcome to Experience Level 4. So Mimics, tough, lots of XP. We are also hungry, so we would like to find some other monsters to kill. I do have another Lichen Corpse if I have to. Ooh, ooh, look at that for a dungeon level. If I was scared about meeting one Mimic in a shop, I think 2 Roths is going to be really quite something. We've learned in previous episodes that we can ask for more info on creatures, so let's see what the book has to say. Oh, pronounced Rothay. I am wrong with my pronunciation. A muskox-like creature with an aversion to light. It prefers to live underground near lichen and moss. So, Rothays are good eating, but they are also a little bit big. So let's run away from those. Ooh, and we've found ourselves an altar. We've found ourselves a neutral altar. And again, one of the maybe differences between Casey's playstyle and mine is that whenever Casey's found an altar in his games, there's been a distinct lack of celebration, particularly when they're co-aligned. An altar is a literal gift to an early character, certainly when you find one here. So let's go ahead and eat that Lichen Corpse to begin with. And let's find out what our items are that we have, whether they're blessed, cursed, or otherwise. So that ring was cursed, as we thought. But we do have a couple of other bits which are uncursed. So that is a statue. That is a brown mold, and again, I know I don't really want to hit brown molds just on their own. And I don't think brown molds are safe to eat, so let's not eat our brown mold, even though I'd rather get some food in me. Let's sacrifice this brown mold. Oh, that is a good call. Rascally in the chat says, did I check out the horn bag, etc. at the shop or get distracted by the Mimic? I got distracted / scared off by the Mimic. So we should definitely go back and have a look at that in the shop. I have a feeling this passageway isn't going to lead us anywhere. Yeah, that's just a dead end, it looks like. So maybe those bags are going to be something that is worthwhile, or is going to help us with that altar. Tell you what, I'm going to go down and I'm going to hit this Roth. I'm going to just like try and see, like, because we can always run away upstairs. Yeah, let's run away upstairs. So, as I said, that Roth got in a couple of turns of hits and basically halved our, more than halved our hit points. So, sure enough, our we're not strong enough to face the gnomish mines yet, and we are also hungry. Let's throw our... Ooh. Well, that is the downside of cursed daggers. They, And sadly, I also know that bats are not sensible things to eat, so that one's just going to have to get left for my pet. So, it is asking whether I want to improvise on this horn. Ooh, so my horn is going to scare people, but it is not going to produce any food for me. Let's try looting this bag and seeing what's inside it. Just a potion. There is a tin in this bag. The tin will cost me 13 Zorkmids. Well, I am hungry, so let's buy this tin and hope that it is something edible. We can eat some goblin. So I think for now we are going to have to run down to the next dungeon level and hope we can find some food. Because again, with those two Roths hanging around on the gnomish mines, it's definitely not safe for us to go down there yet. So there is a kobold coming towards us. Again, kobolds are not safe to eat. Barbarians have poison resistance, so Casey can eat his way through the dungeon as well as just fight his way through the dungeon. But our poor, delicate little wizard is not so lucky. So I'm hoping I can lure this kobold, like, even if I can't... Come back here, kobold. Like, even if I can't eat him, I can at least offer him to my god, but now he's running away. No fleeing, that's not allowed. Come along. Oh, I am weak. So I should probably pray at this point. So that has solved our immediate problem of being starving. Hopefully, if we go down a couple more dungeon levels, we can find ourselves some more supplies of food. And maybe if we can find ourselves some way to actually create monsters, then we can return to that altar and do some more sacrificing. And I was hoping I would find an alternative path into that room. Yeah. So again, rock piercers are maybe a little bit tough for us. Sadly, that rock piercer has left me blind, so we have no way of curing our blindness at the moment. There we go, we can see again. Ooh, we have found ourselves a spellbook, which is, for a wizard, one of the most exciting things we can find. And another shop. So that strange object is going to be a mimic. Likewise, this strange object up here. So this time we will not find them. Relsky is saying the stair traversal didn't count for level knowledge, you were blind. It will still count for where the upstairs are. Because it will have dropped me down on the same position there. So the upstairs should be marked for it. And that's the only reason why I went down one. So there are a lot of wands here. A pair of leather gloves. 2 pairs of leather gloves. And a lot of wands. But nothing too exciting in there that nothing immediately caught my attention, and I am still aware that I have basically, well, I have no food. So, I'm not going to spend any more time in that shop. So we can eat that goblin corpse and pick up the eucalyptus leaves. If you ask a koala, the koala will tell you that eucalyptus leaves don't really have all that much nutrition to them. So I wouldn't say that really fixes our nutrition problems. And there we go, a trapdoor opens up from under you. This is not guaranteed to drop us down just one level, but we will be able to see whether in fact I did see the staircase or not. There we go. So over here we've got our staircase. So that's not going to be the end of the world. We can start making our way back over there. If nothing else, I would like to become reunited with my cat. So, ants. Ants are not good. And again, I cannot eat that ant safely yet. Ants can be poisonous. Well, while we're here, let's go down and have a look an extra level as well. That grid bug popped us over the edge to level 5, and we found a food ration, so that's going to be a nice little bonus as well. So we can't go around that trapdoor, so let's close that door and kick it away, so now we can tread diagonally. So Relsky says she would have eaten that ant. The thing is that poisonous stuff, while it is going to reduce your hit points, it can also reduce your stats, and so I have to be a little bit careful here, because I don't want to just kind of like, part of the fun of Nethack is finding things out through making mistakes. All right, one of our previous episodes, Casey ate a leprechaun leprechaun corpse, and it was wonderful, because I knew it was a bad idea, but Casey didn't know it was a bad idea until he had eaten it. So I don't want to just kind of give all the answers out for his next stream. You know, part of the fun is finding these things out. So while there are ways to recover those stats, our character doesn't yet have any of those. So I'm going to play it cautiously and not eat any poisonous corpses. In particular, I'd be most worried about losing strength. Our wizard is a, compared to a barbarian, our wizard is a weak and weedy character. Our barbarians normally have strength around 17 or 18. Our wizard has a strength of 11. And if I lose some of those stats, I can't carry as much. Like, wizards spend a lot of time trying not to be burdened anyway, and losing any of that stats would make that even harder. So let's kick down this door, this locked door. And while kicking down that door, I remembered, actually, I picked up a spellbook a while back and I got very excited about it, but I didn't try and read it. So the next time we see our cat, we should definitely try and read it. So we've got ourselves a couple of orcs here. And again, this is one of the things that, again, is a nice thing when it happens for your wizards. When the enemies just line up, right, it's like they're begging for a force bolt. And who are we to decline such an invitation? So we will pick up that crude dagger. Wizards, in many ways, are very daggery characters. So we kind of want them to start using daggers as soon as they possibly can. Daggers make great projectile weapons. Fighting stuff at a distance is also a key trait of your wizard. I decided I didn't like that cave spider anymore. That cave spider was carrying a wand around, which is a little bit weird. But thank you for the wand, cave spider. So again, normally we'd be going through the Gnomish Mines and picking up all the daggers we can find, but we have not been quite so lucky. So I guess the real question now is, where is our kitten? There is our kitten. So let's go all the way back up into this room with the downstairs, and let's drop our mysterious spellbook. And let's see if our kitten is willing to tread on it. He is. So let's read that spellbook. Difficult to comprehend. Let's say yes. Stone to flesh. Stone to flesh, which we can't reliably cast yet. So one of the things about our spells is that some simple spells we can cast very reliably. Other spells, not so much. So we can't cast Stone to Flesh very reliably. 4 in 5 times, it's going to fail. But the nice thing about Stone to Flesh, both is that it now gives us essentially a fairly unlimited source of food. We can also use it to keep our pet happy. So we're not exactly short on mana, so let's see if we can cast that Stone to Flesh a little bit. So let's force bolt that boulder. And let's try casting Stone to Flesh. You failed to cast the spell correctly. Let's try it again. So we got it, okay? You smell a delicious smell, and those 21 rocks are now 21 meatballs. And a little newt, which is going to be something for us to eat. So one of the things you can do with your meatballs is throw one to your pet. So I think we had a look down those downstairs already. So again, 2 ants. Don't want to fight 2 at a time, so I'm definitely gonna step back there. And I'm a little bit low on spell points, but I think I'm gonna cast Force Bolt until I kill it. I was going to say, and that looks very much like there would be a hidden door there to me, which sure enough there is. Maybe nothing else in there. And again, this normally, there we go, there's a hidden passageway there. A chest, and I think this is our first chest that we found. I tend to check my chests for traps before I attempt to loot them. But as we can see, even if you check them for traps, you're not guaranteed to find them. A whole bunch of stuff. Wow, this is kind of like the dungeon level of traps, where we've got trapped chests, trapped doors. So this isn't me moving around randomly. When stunned, you end up moving randomly. So again, there's probably not much else to see on this particular dungeon level. I wonder where our cat has got to. Rex purrs. Yaw. So we hear the chime of a cash register, which is a good thing. We like shops. Ooh. So one good rule of thumb when first starting out your game of Nethack is you want to be roughly on the same dungeon level as your experience level, or at least you can cope with it. Like, it is just a rule of thumb, you definitely don't have to obey it, but we should probably be on our guard if we keep going further down the dungeon. Like, I'm not too worried about being on dungeon level 6 when I'm only experience level 5, but if I was on dungeon level 8 at experience level 5, then maybe I should be extra cautious. So I am now burdened, and being burdened is death for a wizard. We definitely don't want to be burdened. So what can we get rid of? Well, I don't think we need that green gem. That's not really going to help. We can probably stop carting around that cursed dagger. We could read that Blessed Scroll of Identify and see what we've got. Blessed Scrolls of Identify have a chance of identifying everything in our inventory. But I think I'd rather wait and see if I can find a couple of extra things first. So tell you what, let's pick up those things. And let's just go back and grab that chest. Which, ooh, that has made me stressed, but I'm gonna risk carrying that. Oh, that was a risky click. That was me not paying enough attention. Where let's drop that chest. And let's loot that chest, and let's pop a whole bunch of stuff into it. In particular, we will get rid of that ruined dagger. We will keep hold of all our scrolls, but we will put all the spell books, because spell books are big and heavy. And that green gem is probably worthless, but we'll throw that in there anyway. And one new feature, which as far as I know was added in the recent Nethack 3.6 release, but is super useful, even more exciting than the Control-O overview for the dungeon, which is super duper. Potentially more exciting, I'm more excited about it, is that I can annotate things. I can annotate this level, and I can say that this level is my stash. And so now when I come back to this level, it will tell me that, and I can also see it in the level overview. So I don't have to remember that I've left all my spell books and everything else on level 6. The game can remember it for me. Anyway, this is probably going to be a ghoul of some kind, so let's tackle this ghoul. And let's try throwing our dagger. We haven't been doing enough dagger stuff. So let's also spellcast at it. So, we got rid of the ghoul, we're no longer burdened. Let's see if we can find this shop. And in what may be seen as a little case of foreshadowing, our shopkeeper was cursing shoplifters. So, let's see. I would kind of like to purchase a couple of food rations, I think. How many do I currently have? Well, I'll buy a couple. Given that I've got that stone to flesh, I can always make my own food, but it's always nice to have a couple of food rations sitting around. So let's pay for those. And so Rex is probably going to just like go through and eat a whole bunch of stuff in here. But if you remember, the nice thing about Stone to Flesh, or the Stone to Flesh spell, is that it lets you secure a big supply of meatballs. And the nice thing about supplying a big supply of meatballs is that feeding it to your pet increases its likelihood to come and bring stuff to you. In particular, so Rex just dropped a tin in front of me on the shop, on a square which is not considered part of the shop. And I think that seems like good behaviour to me. Let's give Rex a meatball. Thanks, Rex. You have brought me a tin. Rex did not bring me a tin. Rex, you should not have got a meatball. Rex dropped a tin. Rex gets a meatball. And I can pick up that tin. It's not in the shop, so the tin is now mine. I'm not sure if he dropped a food ration there. He did. Rex, you get another meatball. Rex dropped a pancake right in front of me. Rex, have a meatball. A tin? Rex, you really shouldn't have. Oh, I accidentally threw a hexagonal wand at poor Rex, but we can still feed him a meatball. It's not going to be quite as effective as if I had done it immediately, but it will still help. Sure. So I now have so much food, I am burdened. I have just pockets overflowing with food rations and tins. Let's try eating one of these tins. Let's try eating that one which was a Z. It smells like brown molds. Now I didn't trust the brown mold when I ate it earlier, so I probably shouldn't trust it now. So let's discard that tin, but I am still burdened, so let's eat one of the other ones. And the fact that they stack, like I've got two, suggests that it might contain spinach. Smells like elves. I will totally eat an elf. So Sir Pell in the chat is saying whenever he spends a bunch of time getting his pet to steal a bunch of stuff from shops, he dies shortly thereafter. So hope, you know, maybe this is a poor bellwether for us. So there's a clear potion over here, and I definitely want the clear potion. And like, it is only 7 Zorgmids, but I am a stingy wizard, and Rex should now be properly trained that Rex is going to just pick that up and drop that in front of me. Thanks for the food ration, Rex. You get a meatball. Rex, it seems, has forgotten how to shoplift. Like, Rex, all those meatballs... Buddy, they were for a purpose. Come on, drop it back in front of me. That's more like it. So, that was in a delicatessen, so we can know that our dark green potion is probably going to be either fruit juice or booze. So I'm going to name it probably fruit juice or booze. Okay, and I think Rex just dropped that. So Rex, you get your last meatball for now. We get a clear potion. Let's check this icebox. I would have said there's nothing particularly exciting in this icebox. It's quite a big icebox, got lots and lots of things. So we'll leave those as it is, and we will leave the shop. And one thing we definitely want to do, we're beginning to feel hungry. Well, we've got plenty to eat. Let's have that other tin of... Well, no, let's not have a tin of elf meat. Let's have one of our food rations. We've got enough of those. So let's take some of this stuff back over to our stash and see if we can become unburdened. In fact, let's just travel over there. So I think I only need one eucalyptus leaf at a time. Let's put 3 of our food rations in, leaving us carrying around 4 plus a tin plus a pancake. So our movements are now unencumbered. Let's see if we can find anything else in the rest of the dungeon. So a blue jelly is something I'm definitely not going to attack hand to hand. That, by the way, was, if you saw there, one of the drawbacks to our Force Bolt spell, where it will kill animals for us. I mean, a jelly, I think, is a plant rather than an animal, but it will kill things for us. But it may also destroy the items they're carrying. So this blue jelly contained a Puce potion. So we no longer get access to that Puce potion. But we can eat that blue jelly. So, ooh. So there is a horse. Maybe a pony? A pony. And... I don't know. Like, ponies are vegetarians. I don't think our pony is going to like a meatball if we throw him a meatball. He might like a eucalyptus leaf. I would rather not fight him. Let's try throwing the pony a meatball. So, the meatball misses the pony. Rex got the meatball. It did make our pony peaceful. So, we have pacified the pony and no longer have to fight it. Let's go back and pick up that tin that Rex stole. And we're probably ready to go on down another dungeon level and see what else we can find. Just while waiting for our kitten, actually, I will just demonstrate that annotation feature where when you go down, there is a ghoul. Let's just take out that ghoul. This is an example of what the annotation feature does, where it says, you remember this level as Stash. So let's wait for our kitten to join us. There we go. So we should start thinking about, at some point soon, we are probably going to encounter the Oracle. Which will be nice, because then we can go and do Sokoban. And Sokoban, wow, this is a room just full of water traps. But Sokoban is fun. We can definitely do Sokoban. I'm still not entirely convinced that I would be strong enough to take on the Gnomish Mines. I am burdened again. What can we do about that? Tell you what, let's see if we can identify a few of these wands, because if some of them are crap, then we can just drop them in our stash. Railsquee's asking, is that a pie? And Railsquee's asking that because I know they are more of a Nethack 3.4.3 player. That is iron bars, and we've started seeing a lot more of those in 3.6. They're a little bit annoying in that we can't really go through them. I don't think you can kick them down. I don't think I'm strong enough to kick down some pies. So let's have a go and see if we can identify some of these wands. And to begin with, I'm going to write some stuff in the dust with my fingers. And then what shall we write with? Well, let's try this uncursed ebony wand. The engraving on the floor vanishes. So, that hasn't told us what it is, but it's narrowed it down a little bit. So let's name that wand Vanishes Writing. Let's try one of our other wands. Let's try a forked wand and say, sure, we want to add to our current engraving. No special message. So that hasn't really told us anything. The bugs on the floor slow down. So I can tell you that that wand, which I think was WK, is going to be a wand of slow monster. And I'm going to be okay and dropping off a wand of slow monster in my stash. In fact, I don't think I care about that egg. There's not much point carrying around a curse scroll with me. I also don't really care about confused monsters, so let's drop those off. And right now, I have no way to write anything, so we might as well drop the unlabeled scroll off too. We're not going to put on that cursed ring, for sure. And we don't care about that one either. So we're now unencumbered again. Rielsky is saying I could drop the water. I hold my water close to my chest. My water potions are potentially my most important potions, I think. I'm definitely keeping hold of that one. In fact, I might even start making a few more. So we've got a potion of paralysis. That potion of paralysis is basically useless, so let's dip that into the fountain. Water gushes forth from the overflowing fountain, and the fountain dries up. So there are now pools of water throughout this particular room, which we should do our very best to avoid. Wow, 2 secret doors. A doorway to nowhere. 2 doorways to nowhere. A tripe ration. So that, if you notice that little sparkle, you feel a wrenching sensation. Wizards have magic resistance, so when I step on magic traps like this teleporter, this teleporter would have just moved me somewhere on the level. It doesn't affect me, which is definitely nice. So there is a statue of a brown pudding. Let's force bolt that statue. Oh, and by a wonderful surprise, there is our kitten. So I guess about 20 minutes ago, I was saying about how there is this rule of thumb where you should really try and stay on a dungeon level about the same as your experience level. I said I didn't have to worry about being on dungeon level 6 as a level 5 character, but if I was on dungeon level 8 as a level 5 character, maybe I was just starting to get out of my depth. So, I am now on dungeon level 8, and I am still an experience 5 character, so we're not going to run away. Maybe we're going to run away. I want that lizard corpse. Wow, that hobgoblin just zapped a wand of striking, and you see this, you hear something shatter? This is the hobgoblin zapped a whole bunch of things that were carrying potions. Ah. So, the wand hits Ketarax's ghost. One of the things that I mentioned in passing was that I am not playing on my own computer. I am playing on the nethack.alt.org server, which is a public server, which is, I think, the biggest Nethack server on the web. And a lot of people play games on here. People have been playing games on here for well over a decade. I, in fact, discovered recently, I reclaimed my account that I apparently signed up for in 2004, and the password reset still worked. So we have found the bones file from Ketarax the Conjurer, or from Ketarax the some character. Ketarax was not strong enough to fight his way through this throne room. I'm not sure that I am going to be strong enough to fight my way through this throne room. And I do have a kitten which can help me. But again, we're going to remember that discretion is the better part of valor. And let's cast a few force bolts down this way and see what happens. In fact, we can just try and hit the ghosts. Ghosts aren't particularly scary, so I'm okay to try and just like punch the ghost. In fact, they picked up a dagger and threw it at me, so I'm going to throw it back. Let's go for another force bolt. So, Relsky's saying the ghost boinged. Is that a reflection? I must have missed that. I didn't see the ghost boing. So, ghosts are weak but hard to hit. So now we have, like, I was quite happy to stand here and fight this ghost, and then try and take on these things one at a time. But there is now what looks like a gnome lord coming the other way. Although he is a peaceful gnome lord. Okay. Of course, because I'm a gnome. I don't have to worry about that. I was a little bit worried about having something sneak up on me. Well, bye Ketarax's ghost. Sure, why not? So that dagger is making us burdened, so we'll throw it at the kobold instead. Wow, look at all this cool stuff. This, I think, is the poor remains of Ketarax, which does mean that it's almost certainly going to be all cursed, because stuff we find in bones piles tends to be cursed. So there is a bugbear. I'm totally going to force bolt the bugbear. Both the bugbears, in fact. There are two bugbears. And bugbears are big and scary, and I do not want to fight them if I can. So you see that little message there as well, where if we go back up one, the hobgoblin turns to flee. Most scrolls, in fact almost all scrolls, will only work when you read them. But if you stand on a scroll of Scare Monster, it will scare monsters. So one of these scrolls in Ketarax's stash is a scroll of scare monster. Which is useful, as it means that our bugbear is going to be a little bit afraid of us. Well, that was a useless spell. Let's try that one again. Bam! 3 monsters down. That's how we would prefer to do it. I can punch a Hillork. There is indeed a lot of stuff in here. So some of these monsters are going to be asleep. And in particular, that gnome that I'm now standing in the line of is probably going to be a peaceful gnome. So I don't really want to just, like, force bolt it. Hobgoblins aren't that scary. We can take out a hobgoblin hand to hand. Now that bugbear, however, does scare me. So let's zap that one. And let's eat that hobgoblin corpse, and indeed, let's eat that goblin corpse. So I did tell it to eat. I'm just waiting, I guess, for a little bit of input lag to do its thing, or to clear out. The downsides of playing on remote servers is that sometimes you get a little bit of lag. As Rolski says, we managed to clean out this this throne room not so bad. Not bad for a level 5 on a level 8, though we are now a level 6 on a level 8. Okay, so I think that input lag was more me leaving it on a menu rather than it. So let's eat that goblin corpse. And one thing I don't think we've seen yet on any of Casey's run-throughs is what we have here. There is an opulent throne here. Let's sit on the throne.
Radio, streaming all day and night.
Well, it says I feel somewhat out of place. Let's try that one again. Dang. A curse upon thee for sitting upon this most holy throne. You feel a malignant aura surround you. That's not good. I think that just cursed our scroll called Velox Neb. But the throne's still here, we can sit again. And again. You feel very fragile. Bam! Your movements are slowed slightly because of your load. Do you remember when I was saying how I did not want to lose any stats? This is why, because if I lose stats, then I become burdened more easily. So this throne has been very bad to me so far, but eventually this throne will disappear if I keep sitting on it, or it might do nice things for me, and I feel like I'm kind of owed a nice thing. There we go. The throne disappears. How about this chest, though? So we're currently burdened anyway, so... Okay, so our bag is a bag of tricks. And that bag of tricks has generated us a leprechaun. So I missed the leprechaun unless I get very lucky and kill it on this next hit. The leprechaun is going to hit me and steal about half of my gold. Speaking of leprechauns, John in the chat asked earlier about would my magic resistance have stopped me from getting teleportitis if I ate a leprechaun corpse. It would not. So there are many benefits to it, that is not one of them. But we do now have a bag of tricks. So, as Relski points out, there is also an altar further up. So, let's see if we can use those two things to our advantage. And we're kind of getting to the point where we have to wrap up for now. But we can probably have just about enough time to run back up to that altar, dig in to the bag of tricks, and generate ourselves some monsters that we can then sacrifice. So there is a pony between us and the upstairs. Let's dagger this pony. Our pony, the wimp. Ah, not so wimpy. Pony, you fooled me. So we're climbing up the upstairs. I wonder if we can pop anything into this stash. Probably not going to use that tripe ration. Let's pop that. We probably only need to carry one of each kind of scroll. Probably only one of those forked wands. And still burdened. Let's try eating that tin of elf meat. You feel wide awake. You might have got the impression from that we have gained an intrinsic, and indeed we have. We are now sleep resistant. It is a lot harder for monsters to put us to sleep now. But it has not helped us with our burdenedness. Let's try that other tin. Oh, I'm definitely eating the floating eye. How nice is that? I think we've even got ourselves an uncursed blindfold. Yeah, so tins, right? We all love tins. Anyway, we are burdened, which sucks. I'm trying to see what I'm willing to really put away here and really not carry with me. You know what? We can get rid of a couple of these extra wands as well. Let's put in a food ration, because we can always cast Stone to Flesh or dig into that bag of tricks and eat whatever comes out of it. I'm not going to read that cursed scroll anytime soon. Well, let's leave the cursed scroll with us for the time being, because we might end up reading that blessed scroll of identify to see what we're carrying. Probably not going to worry about protection from shape changes for the time being. I don't think I'm going to use any of these wands for the time being, so let's pop all of those in as well. and I am still burdened. So, Relsky points out that I could drop some or all of my money, but while I'm up that way, I guess I say up that way, it's not that far away, I'm thinking I could go into the Gnomish Mines. Let's just go up all that way. Oh hey, there's that a leprechaun. Let's go up before our cat wakes him up. Where was that? Level 3, so... Hey, our cat stayed with us, that was nice. In fact, I was thinking I could spellcast it, but I would rather have the dagger practice. I think I'm now out of daggers, so... There are all our daggers. Ooh. That was not what I meant to do. So Rex ate the iguana corpse. So here we have ourselves an altar. Let's drop everything that we don't know about. So, tell you what, let's drop a whole bunch of our potions over here, except maybe that potion of extra healing. I think I might keep that one with me. And we will close this door. So, we have our altar. Let's try our bag of tricks. Rex is going to be a little bit annoying with this, as he's going to eat a whole bunch of things. This leprechaun is also going to be annoying. Let's force bolt the leprechaun. Now, and I also managed to take out that door that was preventing my monsters from running up there and attacking my potion stash. So, there you go. I'm not thinking diagonally. There is a little dog which is peaceful and would have been a bad idea to sacrifice anyway. And there are zombies which are not sacrificable. You can only sacrifice fresh corpses, and zombies are many things but are not fresh. Ha! There we go. So we killed ourselves a fox, and we got to it before our pet did. An object appears at your feet. The voice of Thoth booms out. Use my gift wisely. Your movements are now unencumbered, and this is one of the reasons why that daggers are quite important to wizards. Wizards are guaranteed to get Magic Bane as a first sacrifice gift. And a Thame, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that one correctly after my Rothe issues earlier. But an Thame is like a dagger. So we definitely want to wield that. It is an artifact weapon. I don't think we've seen any artifact weapons on Nethack Nights yet. They are like other weapons, but they are much more interesting, more powerful. Some of them have special powers, and Magic Bane definitely has special powers. So we have an iguana, this poor iguana. Well, I say this poor iguana. We're gonna do our best to stab the hell out of this iguana. But we are currently, I think, unskilled in daggers, despite the fact that we have been throwing them. We have not yet leveled up. which means that we're not very good at stabbing things yet. So we might well miss the iguana more than we would like. The magic absorbing blade stuns the iguana. And again, and we kill the iguana. So, the iguana didn't leave a corpse, otherwise that corpse would have been on that altar in a flash. And there is a Wrath. Let's see how we do against the Wrath. Bam. Wraths are good eating, but Wraths are also good sacrificing. You have a hopeful feeling. So, we didn't even get to see that monster. It spawned a hobbit, Rex bit it. The magic absorbing blade scares the homunculus. The homunculus turns to flee. Oh, see, this is like dangerous territory. 3 Wraths. 2 Wraths. Well, we do have 50 HP. I'm going to be quite happy with that Wrath running away. And we are lucky enough that we just leveled up. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice these, even though that Wrath is having a go at us. Because that's now going to leave me unencumbered. Oh, 7 HP. I think this sounds like a great time to drink a potion of extra healing and have a go at stabbing a Wrath. So I think that's probably the point where I'm going to have to leave this for the time being, as we have our wizard doesn't look like he's or she's about to die anytime soon. We have fought off those 3, I say Wrath, because I've been thinking about them as Wraths for years. Rothays, the guidebook told us, Rothay. Rasky's asking, why am I holding off on enhancing quarterstaff? The answer is because I'm not going to use it. I knew that Magic Bane would be coming. I didn't really want to use a skill slot on quarterstaff when I'm going to be using daggers as much as possible for the rest of the game. It's going to be daggers and spells all the way through. So I think this is probably, as I say, the time where we should wrap up for the evening. Apparently, my theme is also Athame, so I don't know if Rolsby's winding me up with that one, but it might well turn out that my Nethack pronunciation is just completely off. If you fight your way through, all the way through the dungeon, you find yourself in Gehennom, and I'm really worried I'm pronouncing Gehennom wrong as well. Maybe it's Gehennom, I don't know. So, you will, to follow the rest of this character, I'm not entirely sure what to recommend, because I may well be lucky enough to guest for Casey again on future episodes, in which case we could continue with our wizard. Failing that, you can actually, one of the nice things about the nethack.alt.org, which we can just demonstrate actually, is that you can watch other people's games in progress. So let's go for Gorgash's game, because they appear to be on dungeon level 3. Gorgash here, as we can see, likes playing with the ASCII character set. So you can, if Nethack Nights is not enough Nethack for you, you can log on to nethack.alt.org. You just have to SSH to nethack@alt.org. You don't need to log in, you can watch games in progress. Sometimes you get to watch people do really weird stuff. There's a lot of weird options in NetHack. And you get to watch people. That's quite good fun. Certainly if you feel like twice a week is not enough NetHack spectating options for you. And if you aren't aware already, then there is in fact the Nethack Nights blog as well, which is over here at nethacknights.tumblr.com. You can watch previous episodes, read the text recaps. I will try to write up a little something for Casey on that. We didn't take any screenshots. Curses. I will go back through the video and try and pull out some screenshots. Maybe us getting a gift from our god would be a good screenshot. And you can follow Casey on Twitter. And then you'll get notifications for all the future NetHack Nights. Also on Twitch, it's Soda Culture on Twitch, and where you can also watch previous episodes. So that is it for NetHack Nights for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching my wizard, watching me play through the Dungeons of Doom this evening. Until next time, keep hacking those nets, and be seeing you.